Are you ready to see another sensational vintage Seiko quartz from the 70s? Here it is, the Seiko QZ. Well, lots of people referred to Seiko quartz as QZs, but this was an actual QZ range of watches that were introduced in around 1974. I've seen a catalogue online actually, the 1975 catalogue showing this exact watch for 41,000 yen. Now, they introduced QZ watches after they had introduced the Superiors, the the Grand Quartz, the King Quartz, the Lord Quartz, the QTs, and then the QRs, and that was in order of most expensive through to the cheapest. Then they introduced the QZs, and after that they introduced the Type 2s. So they were adding to their range of quartz watches from the bottom, because they were getting cheaper to produce. And so they could offer cheaper and cheaper ranges of quartz watches. But this was still by no means an affordable watch. The price tag was 41,000 yen. Well, the cheapest Seiko 5 in that era was around 10,000 yen. So this was 4 times the price of the cheapest Seiko 5. The cheapest Seiko 5 in the UK is around £280. So you could sort of multiply that up and say, well, this is sort of a £1,000 watch. So yeah, although they were getting better at producing cheaper quartz movements and therefore cheaper quartz watches in the mid-70s, even their cheapest ones were not that cheap. These were predominantly JDM watches, so you've got day-date complication, which was very common, English kanji, and you set the days of the week first. You pull the crown out to the first position, and when you rotate anti-clockwise, you've actually got English in blue or black, and then you've got kanji in black, and you set the day of the week. Let's say it's Sunday, and I want it in black. Oh no, you can't have Sunday in black. Let's say it's Monday, and I want it in black. Is that black? Let's say that's black. So I'm happy that it's Monday, and then I rotate clockwise to set the date of the month, because once the days of the week are set, of course, you shouldn't have to adjust that. Push the crown. Well, you can pull the crown out, obviously, and adjust the hands. Push it back in. This is another new old stock watch. Yeah, these aren't easy to find. But yeah, I like them because I like to see how these watches were finished. I think they also work nicer. They've obviously been very well looked after, never worn, essentially. And again, I still don't know how these watches exist. Over in Japan, they just must be finding old vintage Seikos stashed away in cupboards in shops and whatever. I don't know. It is baffling to me, but look at it. I mean, it is mint and it's gorgeous. I love to see these watches like this. For me, it's worth paying the premium. Sadly, I can't afford to keep them all, so I do end up selling a lot of them on my website. If you're in the UK, I like watches.net. If you're not in the UK, email me oldmantimegary@gmail.com. The movement inside this watch is the 0923. Nothing too remarkable about that movement, really. Plus minus 15 seconds a month. 5 joules, I think. So it's a serviceable movement. Reliable early quartz movements, made very, very well given the price of this watch. You'd expect them to be. And yeah, look at the hand placement. Look at that second hand. Even on their more affordable quartz watches, they still cared enough to ensure that the second hand was hitting the markers. And what I like about these movements is gravity doesn't seem to impact the accuracy of that placement. The ticks are all equal distance, and believe it or not, in a lot of modern cheap quartz watches, the ticks are all different sizes. I don't know how that happens. Some ticks, the second hand jumps a long way, then it barely jumps at all. This is just, well, it's how quartz watches should have remained, I think. And we went back to automatics, or the community, I should say, went back to automatics because, well, quartz watches just became so cheap and throwaway. But back in the mid-70s, they were anything but that. Lovely bracelets, solid construction. Yes, you've got a pressed clasp. But you've got split pins on this one, solid links, solid end links, micro adjustment options there. Oh man, love it. Absolutely love it. What do you think, guys? Some of you I know are not warming to vintage quartz, but am I getting through to any new people? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know.